This is a 12-step plan for immigration, not a slogan, not a talking point, a plan most people quietly agree with and almost no one is willing to say out loud. It's structured, it's enforceable, and it's designed for the long term, not the next election cycle. If you're interested in serious discussion rather than political noise, feel free to like, subscribe, or leave a comment at any point. I read them and I appreciate thoughtful disagreement. I'm going to walk through this plan step by step, exactly as it is written. What follows isn't about left or right. It's about capacity, responsibility, and national cohesion. Here is the autonomous 12-step immigration plan. Step 1. Secure the border. Complete physical and technological border infrastructure. Deploy physical barriers where terrain and migration patterns warrant. Install surveillance technology, sensors, cameras, drones for real-time monitoring. Staff Border Patrol at levels sufficient to respond to all illegal crossing attempts. Establish rapid consequence, immediate return for illegal entries, no catch and release. Establish equal per country immigration caps. Replace the current system with neutral predictable quotas. Set the annual immigration ceiling based on assimilation capacity, proposed 500K to 750K total. Divide total quota equally across all nations regardless of size or geography. No country receives more than 7% of total annual admissions. Internal prioritization. Nuclear family reunification, critical skills, humanitarian cases within country caps. Process asylum claims abroad. Move asylum processing out of U.S. territory. Establish processing centers at U.S. embassies, consulates, and region facilities. Require asylum seekers to apply from their country of origin or first safe country. Enforce safe third country agreements. If you pass through Mexico, apply there. Rapid adjudication. Claims decided in 30 to 90 days, not years. Step 4. Create the autonomous covenant requirement. Mandate signed commitment to constitutional principles before entry. Applicants must sign an affirmation of allegiance to Constitution as supreme law. Acknowledge separation of church and state, rule of law, equality before the law, free speech. Agree to English acquisition and civic participation. Agree to self-sufficiency requirement. No access to federal welfare programs. Violation of covenant, serious crime, rejection of constitutional principles, welfare dependencies equals deportation. Step 5. Mandate self-sufficiency, 0 federal benefits. Immigration is a privilege requiring financial responsibility. Absolute prohibition, No federal welfare, food stamps, housing assistance, Medicaid, or any federal benefit programs for non-citizens, legal or illegal. Sponsor requirement. All immigrants must have U.S. citizen or permanent resident sponsor who signs legally binding financial responsibility agreement. Sponsor liability. Sponsors are financially liable for immigrant welfare costs. If immigrant becomes dependent, government can pursue civil recovery. Proof of self-sufficiency required. Employment verifications, savings threshold, or sponsor guarantee before entry. Emergency medical only. Humanitarian emergency care provided. Then immediate deportation if illegal. Legal immigrants, billed sponsor liable. State options. States may choose to provide benefits with 100% state funding, no federal matching funds. Mandatory ICE notification. No sanctuary jurisdictions. Federal legislation ending sanctuary policies nationwide. Mandatory cooperation law. All state and local enforcement must notify ICE upon arrest of any non-citizen to any crime, misdemeanor or felony. Mandatory detention. Non-citizens charged with crimes must be held until ICE takes custody. No release back onto the streets. ICE detainer. Federal warrant. Detainer requests carry force of federal law. Refusal to comply equals federal crime. Federal funding penalty. Jurisdictions that refuse cooperation lose 100% of federal law enforcement grants. Personal liability. Elected officials who order non-compliance face personal civil liability if released criminal harms someone. Criminal charges for obstruction. Officials who actively obstruct ICE face federal prosecution. Exception for witnesses, victims. Non-citizens reporting crimes or serving as witnesses receive temporary protection from deportation during investigation or trial. Step 7. Double penalties for non-citizens. Crime means deportation. Enhanced sentencing and automatic deportation for all criminal offenses. Automatic sentencing doubling. Automatic sentence doubling. All crimes committed by non-citizens, legal or illegal status, receive double the standard sentence. Traffic violations, double fines, double points, double suspension periods. Misdemeanors, double jail time, double fines. Felonies, double prison sentences. Life means life. No plea bargains to avoid deportation. Prosecutors cannot reduce charges to avoid immigration consequences. Mandatory deportation upon conviction. Any criminal conviction, misdemeanor or felony, triggers automatic deportation proceedings. Serve sentence, immediate ICE transfer, deportation. Lifetime ban on re-entry for violent crimes, sex crimes, drug trafficking. 10-year minimum ban for all other crimes. Pre-trial detention. Non-citizens charged with crimes held without bail pending trial and deportation. Aggravated felonies equals permanent ban. Murder, rape, child abuse, trafficking, terrorism equals lifetime ban with no exceptions. Rationale. You are a guest in this country. Americans tolerate crime from Americans because we're stuck with each other. We are not stuck with you. One strike and you're out. Step 8. Mandate English proficiency in civic education. Make English fluency and constitutional knowledge hard requirements. Temporary visas, English learning encouraged but not required. Permanent residency, conversational English required, reading, writing, speaking. Citizenship, full English proficiency required. Civics test interview in English. Comprehensive constitutional literacy exam covering Bill of Rights, separation of powers, federalism, individual rights. Provide access to free subsidized English instruction, but attendance and completion are of immigrants' responsibility. Step 9. Establish 5-year probationary residency period. Demonstrates commitment and self-sufficiency before citizenship eligibility. Legal resistance. Legal residents must maintain continuous employment or enrollment in education, no gaps exceeding 90 days. 0 criminal record. Any conviction triggers deportation per step 7. Active English learning progress with measurable benchmarks. Residence stability and tax compliance. Complete financial independence. 0 use of federal welfare programs. Sponsor remains liable throughout probationary period. After 5 years of demonstrated integration and self-sufficiency, eligible to apply for citizenship. Any covenant violations, criminal charges, or welfare dependency during probation equals permanent ineligibility for citizenship or immediate deportation. Step 10. Address illegal residents. No reward for lawbreaking. Realistic framework that prioritizes Americans and rule of law. No path to citizenship for illegal entry. You cannot become a voting citizen if you broke the law entering. No federal benefits ever. Illegal immigrants receive 0 federal assistance. Enforcement per step 5. Legal permanent residency possible. Highly conditional. Must have continuous U.S. presence for 15 plus years, provable. Completely clean criminal record. Any crime equals immediate deportation per step 7. Demonstrated self-sufficiency, continuous employment, no welfare use ever. Must have U.S. citizen sponsor who signs financial liability agreement. Must sign autonomous covenant with enhanced penalties for violations. Must pay back taxes plus 20% penalty for years worked illegally. Back of the line. Processed only after all legal applicants. Children brought as minors. Pathway to citizenship available if brought before age 16. Continuously present for 10 plus years. 0 criminal record, high school diploma or equivalent, employment or higher education. Military service equals expedited pathway. All others subject to deportation. Priority enforcement on criminals, recent arrivals, welfare users. Secure border first. No regulation until border security metrics from step 1 are achieved for 24 plus consecutive months. Step 11. Criminalize employer hiring of illegal workers. Remove the demand that creates the supply. Mandatory E-Verify for all employers. Phased rollout over 2 years. Severe penalties for knowing employment of illegal workers. First offense, $25,000 per illegal worker. mandatory audit. Second offense, 50,000 per illegal worker. Criminal charges for executives, HR personnel. Third offense, business license revocation, asset forfeiture. No, I didn't know defense. Failure to use E-Verify equals presumption of knowledge. Criminal charges, felony for systematic hiring of illegal workers. 10 plus workers or pattern of violations. Whistleblower protections and rewards, 20% of fines collected for reporting. Safe harbor to employers who discover illegal status through E-Verify and immediately report to ICE. Step 12. End birthright citizenship for non-citizen parents. Constitutional clarification or amendment. Citizenship by birth requires at least one parent who is a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Interpreted as requiring parental legal allegiance. Eliminates birth tourism and anchor baby incentive. Children born to illegal immigrants or temporary visa holders are not automatically citizens. Such children take immigration status of parents. May apply through standard legal immigration process. Aligns U.S. with most developed nations. Canada, Australia, UK, France, Germany, Japan all restrict birthright citizenship. Implementation timeline. Month 1, executive orders activating steps 6, ICE cooperation, and 7, double penalties begin border security deployment. Months 1 to 6, congressional legislations for steps 2, 5, 6, 7, 11, and 12. E-Verify rollout begins. Sanctuary jurisdiction funding cuts initiated. Months 6 to 12, border security build out. Asylum processing centers established abroad. Covenant implementation. Self-deportation begins. No jobs, no benefits. Months 12 to 18. Border security metrics achieved. Civic education curriculum finalized. E-Verify mandatory. Months 18 to 24. Probationary residency framework operational. English proficiency requirements in effect. Double penalty enforcement showing deterrent results. Year 2 to 3. Begin highly conditional regularization for qualifying long-term illegals only after 24 months of secured border. Year 3 to 5. Full system operational, metrics tracked, system self-sustaining through employer compliance and deterrence. Core principles. You pay your own way. Immigration is a privilege, not an entitlement. We owe you nothing. Crime equals immediate deportation. Americans tolerate crime from Americans because we're stuck with each other. We're not stuck with you. Cooperation is mandatory. No sanctuary for criminals. Local police work with ICE or lose funding. Constitutional supremacy. Allegiance to our system, not yours. Self-deportation through enforcement. No jobs, no benefits. Deportation for crime equals most leave on their own. Legal immigration remains open, but controlled, vetted, and based on merit and family, not welfare eligibility. Expected results: 70 to 80% reduction in the legal population within 3 years through self-deportation. No employment, no benefits, enforcement. 90% plus reduction in illegal border crossings within 18 months. Physical security and consequences. No incentive. Zero non-citizen crime recidivism. double penalties, deportation, deterrent, and permanent removal. 100% sanctuary jurisdiction elimination, federal funding leverage, personal liability, fiscal savings, billions annually from eliminated welfare expenditure, reduced crime cost, reduced court detention cost, wage growth. Legal workers, especially low skill, see wage increases as illegal labor competition eliminated. Rule of law restored. Immigration law means something again. Legal immigrants rewarded for doing it right. This is not cruelty. This is sovereignty. This is fairness to legal immigrants and American citizens. If you want to come to America, come legally. Support yourself, obey our laws, and become one of us. If you can't do that, don't come. Before I close, I want to step outside the planet itself for a moment and give you some final thoughts. This document lays out structure, but structure only works if we're honest about human nature, incentives, and history. For most of American history, immigrants came here with very little, not because they were forced to, but because they understood what America was offering. It wasn't comfort, it wasn't guarantees, it wasn't outcomes. It was freedom and opportunity. They came expecting to work, to struggle, to build, and to earn their place over time. The dignity came from self-reliance, not assistance. That expectation shaped families, communities, and loyalty to the country itself. Today, our policies often send a very different message. When governments promise support first and integration later, they don't create compassion, they create dependency. That's not a moral failing of immigrants. That's a design failure of the system. People respond to incentives. Nations are no different. There's also a danger when immigration policy is written around short-term political gain. When populations are brought in under promises, explicit or implied, those promises eventually turn into voting blocks. And voting blocks, if not grounded in constitutional culture, don't just vote for things they can vote away. They don't just vote for things, they can vote away the very system that allowed them to come. History is full of examples where republics undermine themselves, not through invasion, but through neglect of civic cohesion. Conflicts don't disappear at borders. People don't shed history, tribal identity, or old grievances just because they relocate. Without deliberate integration, unresolved conflicts can resurface, not as foreign wars, but as domestic divisions. America works because it asks people to leave old allegiances behind and adopt a shared civic identity. When that fails, society fragments. That's why a temporary moratorium is not cruelty, it's responsibility. It gives time to integrate those already here, to restore credibility to the law, and to reset expectations honestly. A nation that wants to remain generous must first remain stable. Immigration built America, but it worked because opportunity came with responsibility, and freedom came with limits. If we forget that, we don't just fail immigrants, we fail the republic itself. If this kind of discussion is something you think we need more of, you're welcome to subscribe or share it with someone who disagrees. Thanks for listening.